England against Sri Lanka, T20 Cricket World Cup preview for Saturday, the 5th of November. Bonfire night over here, Kev. Will England's World Cup campaign be going up in flames, or will it be shooting fireworks into next week?
Yeah, no, I think there'll be plenty of fireworks from England, Steve. I think, technically there is no quarter-final in this competition, is there? But this is one for England.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about run rate or anything like that because Australia was so bad on Friday. It's literally win and they're in, lose and they're out. So, I expect fireworks from England in this match. They beat Sri Lanka in this tournament last year in conditions that would have suited Sri Lanka an awful lot more than what Sydney conditions will. And, I think they've got all bases ticked.
The weather is set fine, as you can see there for Sydney. This is, I do believe, a 7 p.m. kickoff time local. It looks like there's a tiny bit of chance of rain early in the day. It looks like 20 degrees. It's going to be a good day for cricket. Maybe a little bit of cloud up there. What can you tell us about this venue at Sydney, Kev? And what sort of condition are you expecting the pitch to be in? You think it's going to be a used one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they've got a semi-final next week. So any fresh pitches will be safe for that, I would imagine. This ground's probably been the best wickets bat on so far, hasn't it? South Africa piled up the runs. New Zealand piled up the runs. India weren't a million miles away from piling up the runs. So, it's been a high-scoring ground, this one. Doesn't necessarily surprise me. Outfield's been quick. Certain pockets of the ground are very accessible. Pitch is good. And don't really see any reason why that would change here.
No, and let's look at what's at stake here then. For England, it's obvious. Just win the game and they're in the semi-final. Simple as that, really, as far as the English are concerned. And the last match, they're going to have to surely take some confidence from that win against New Zealand, which was a must-win game. We thought they might deliver when the pressure was really on. And, they're the rightful favourites to win this game at quite a short price at 1.2. Generally about 1 to 5 favourite here to win the game. Do you think that's a fair price?
I think it's a bit short, but I think they'll win. So, it's whatever price you think is acceptable, really, isn't it? I can understand why Sri Lanka are being backed. Nothing to play for. Can just play the role of party pooper. But I think you have to go back to 2014 for the last time Sri Lanka beat England in a 20-over game. So far ago that Tilakaratne Dilshan was part of the Sri Lanka squad. So that doesn't bode well. There's an interesting side note on this one, though, isn't there? That in the T20 World Cup last year, England were coached by Chris Silverwood, who is now the coach of Sri Lanka. His tenure as England coach ended. Not the best, shall we say, at this very ground at the start of the year. So, he might have a bit of a point to prove and send his players out to end England's hopes in this tournament.
Well, I was going to say, in terms of Sri Lanka, they can't qualify. I guess the question is, are they just going to mail it in here and they want to get on that plane out of the country, or are they going to give it a good fight? Well, I think it kind of answers the question there with Chris Silverwood. Is going to want to fire them up and show to England, look, the thing is, I don't think he was the right candidate for England at the time, but he's not going to feel that way. He's going to feel like he deserved more. So he's going to get his players bang up for it. And this Sydney surface does takes spin more than any other venue in Australia. Sri Lanka have the spinners. So in theory, and I guess the batsmen as well might suit this sort of pitch.
I mean, you'd think that, wouldn't you? But then you look at their performance against New Zealand here, and whatever they were, 4 down in next to no time, and the game was well and truly done by then. I suppose on the flip side of that, if Glenn Phillips had been caught on 11, I think it was, went on to make 100, it would have been a completely different ball game. But therein is the problem, isn't it? Sri Lanka's fielding started badly and got progressively worse. By this stage of a tournament, you're expecting teams to have peaked. And Sri Lanka's fielding certainly hasn't. It's nosedived.
Yeah, their fielding is a bit of a shambles, I must say. We've got 2 picks for the game. One from you, one from me. We'll start with your pick, Kev. All these bets are in the Bet365 performance market. So These are the performance lines offered. 1 point for a run, 10 for a catch, 20 for a wicket, and 25 for a stumping. And your one is on Moeen Ali. Performance over 26.5 at 5 to 6 for 3 unit selection there we can see in there. I've actually seen a source tip Moeen Ali for top England batsman here at quite a big price. I don't know what number he's expected to come in for this particular game, but I suspect it's more his bowling that you like here.
It is, but I do think he'll bat as well because he's England's best player of spin. So I would imagine, unless Malan or Stokes bat deep, Moeen Ali will come in as a left-hander to attack any short boundaries that there might be. So he might bat 5, might bat 6, depending on how well Stokes and Malan go. But yeah, his bowling, I particularly like his bowling here. Sri Lanka have plenty of left-handers in their side, don't they? Not least at 4 and 5. Charif Asalanka and Binura Rajapaksa. They're both left-handers. England tend to bowl spin away from the batsman's outside edge. So leg spinners to right-handers, off spinners to left-handers. So I'm expecting Moeen Ali to play a prominent role there. And of course, he fields as well. He dropped an absolute goober of a catch in the last game, didn't he? But I'm hoping that doesn't sort of linger too often. Usually, he's a pretty safe pair of hands. So, yeah, all aboard the 3D Claxon again, Steve. 26.5 points for Moeen Ali is absolutely shambles. It's a disgraceful low line, really. This guy's a world-class cricketer who could quite easily bat in the top 3, quite easily bowl in the top 3, and field in the big positions as well. He won't bat in the top 3. He'll probably bat 5 or 6, but he could bat 3 if England wanted him to. And however they come, whether it's a wicket and a few runs, whether it's plenty of runs or 2 wickets, I expect Moeen Ali to be collecting 27 performance points over the course of the evening.
Yeah, it does sound rather good, doesn't it? Are you sure that's only a 3-unit pick? It feels like we should get a few more units on him here. But then again, when you're relying on a player, it can be a little bit problematic sometimes, can't it? So my personal pick, I nearly had 2 performances, and we'll talk about these performances in a minute, actually. But I am going with the good old favourite Hasaranga performance over 28.5. It has been back down here to shortest price to 1.72 now. But it's below 30, and that's the dangling carrot for me. That 30 line, I mean, it's like, Sam Curran the other day was 29.5. His is now gone up to 32.5. And for me, that's just stretched too far slightly. I know it's only 3 difference, but that caught and bowled can just happen at any time. And I don't think Hasaranga's particularly a caught and bowled candidate in T20 cricket, to be fair. But he might have to be the man to catch off his own bowling because no one else can. So the worry with this pick is that he's going to get chances, but that they drop them all the time.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, personally, I hope that it lands with the bat rather than the ball because he's already a few wickets ahead of Curran, so could do without him catching too many more up. But yeah, we've mentioned him plenty of times on this podcast, haven't we? And no reason to suggest otherwise now. I think I saw the other day a statistic, something like, and don't quote me on this, something like 55% of his wickets are either bowled or LBW, which is crazy, really, when you think how batsmen are going after the ball. It just shows you how accurate he is, and it just shows you how hard he is to pick.
And that they drop catches off him.
And that, yeah. Well, apparently only one dismissal is caught and bowled. And he must have close on 100 dismissals now. So
yeah, watch him getting the caught and bowled here for me.
Well,
that's due now, isn't it? I don't think I'm not playing for the caught and bowled here, but
caught and bowled, and then that's it off your pop. We don't want too many more wickets.
Well, I think one thing I do like about this one, not that you can rely on him to get runs, but he will bat in this innings. There's no danger for me of Sri Lanka only losing 2 or 3 wickets here. So I think he'll get a chance to bat. Whether or not he can clobber me, some runs, that's a different question entirely. But just the opportunity to bat, I do like. And so that's my pick for the game. I must say I was very tempted with Liam Livingston's performance, 30.5. Because we know this pitch might take a bit of spin. We know he's capable of coming in quickly. and he does field in prominent positions. But fundamentally, it's like I feel like you're almost relying on a bit of everything. And I'm just not sure. Kev. Was there any other performance line that caught your eye here?
Only Hasaranga. No one else really. I mean, we don't know if Karunaratne is going to play. Kusal Mendes, obviously, being a wicketkeeper, you don't know if he's going to get anything behind the stumps. Shanaka doesn't bowl. Nasanka's not in great form. Alex Hales and Joss Buttler are likely to have to score most of their points with the bat. Sam Curran, you're right about what you say, taking away the caught and bowled, but the fact that he bowls at the death would probably help his chances.
I'd go on the over, definitely. I think he'll cover.
And like you say, Liam Livingstone, there's no guarantees he bats. There's no real guarantee that he bowls, although I think he will bowl. But yeah, he will field in prominent areas. But I mean, if you're looking at it, Moeen Ali and Liam Livingstone are the same player. They both bat in the middle order. They both bowl spin. They both field in the similar positions. So why would you need to take 4 points higher on one than you do on the other?
We've not actually had a performance under on any of these shows yet. Is there any under you would look at here and think that looks a little bit, even not high, but I just don't fancy that player in this match?
Yeah, probably Mendes, because if he doesn't take anything with the gloves, then 29 runs against this England attack's quite a high line, isn't it?
It needs to be a stumping or nothing almost, doesn't it? For Kusal Mendes. What about top England batsmen then? We might as well stay actually at Bet365, I suppose. While we're here, if I can even find the bloody market. And I can't find the market.
Under team at the top there.
There we go. Team. Top batter for Sri Lanka. Who's a good candidate here?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if your man Hasaranga isn't a good bet, Steve. He top scored when these two met last year. Yeah, in the T20 World Cup. He scored 30 odd in no time. And he's due, isn't he? He's barely put bat on ball in this tournament. So it's hard to see him going all tournament without scoring. And obviously this is his last chance because Sri Lanka are out of the tournament after this. So yeah, maybe he's worth a go. I mean, you would say the form horse is Dhananjaya De Silva, wouldn't you? His innings against Afghanistan was brilliant. So, he deserves a mention as well. But if you're looking for a value pick, Hasaranga might be the one.
Do we still have a chance with the Nissanka outright for batting? We need a big score, don't we, now?
We do, yeah, but we need him to go big, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be quite big. It was a shame because for a long time it looked like he was in control of that market.
Yeah, it's that game that he missed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He missed a game of injury, and it's been a bit pear-shaped since.
Joss Buttler obviously had a great innings last time out. Whether or not that fires him up now, he's the sort of guy who does get streaky and goes on these runs. So suddenly I'm very wary of going against Buttler, to be honest with you. Do you think, I fancy Buttler again here, to be honest.
Moeen for me, Steve. Best batter against spin, that England have got. And Sri Lanka could legitimately field 12 overs of spin in this game. If Dhananjaya De Silva bowls all 4 overs, he hasn't done that so far in the tournament. But if the pitch is used and it does take turn, they could bowl 12 overs of spin. And it all goes into his pads as well. It's all leg spin to a right-hander. So, he would be my pick, Moeen Ali, but I'd much prefer his performance.
I saw someone tip him top bat as big as 19-1. I think it was on the exchanges. I can't believe you get anywhere near that price now. But, interesting one. Okay, quick recap then. 2 bets for the game. Hasaranga performance over 28.5. And Moeen Ali performance over 26.5. Both at Bet365, both for 3 units. Let's hope our men deliver here, Kev. We think England are probably going to win, which would set up definitely some tasty-looking semi-finals, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as it stands, it looks like India against England, South Africa against New Zealand. So that wouldn't be too bad at all.
It certainly wouldn't at all. Okay, well, best of luck with those picks. And let's hope we can get some winners there. And we'll see you around very soon for some more previews. Goodbye.